What's up everyone, welcome to the shop. Today we're going to break down how to do a software update on a Humminbird Solix. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to turn the units on and we're going to verify that it actually needs a software update. And after that we're going to go to Humminbird's software update website and find the latest version. And you want to make sure you verify that your graph isn't so far behind that you have to download another software version before you get to that software version. And they're pretty good about on their software version download site. They're pretty good about pretty much drawing that out and letting you know exactly what you have to do in order to get that software update onto your unit. After we verify that we need to do a software update, we're going to find a 32 gigabyte or smaller SD, and that's important in order to make sure that this software update will work properly. And also it's important to note that you may need a micro SD or a bigger SD, regular SD size card based on what units you have. Like this Solix 12 has a regular SD, but I used to have a Solix 10 that would require a micro SD. Let's get down to it. Let's power the units on and we'll start going through the process. First thing, like I said, we're gonna verify that we actually need to do a software update. First thing we're gonna do is we're going to verify that we actually have to get a new latest and greatest software version. So in order to do that, what I'll do is I'll click this home button here and I'll go to settings and I'll go to network, system information, and right there you can see it says that we have 4.130. and if you go to Humminbird's website, the latest one, it actually tells you when the last time I updated was, and it was over a year ago. So the latest version is not 4.130, so we're gonna have to update that and get that one onto this graph. So like I said earlier, you're gonna want a 32 gigabyte SD card, and I usually use this micro SD card and put it in the adapter, and then I'll just go ahead and plug that into the computer. And what I'm gonna wanna do is I'm gonna wanna format this SD card. So I'll right click on the SD card, which I actually have it named Garmin, but I'll right click on the SD card and I'll click format, and it'll ask me if I want to format it, and I'll say yes. And it gives me this warning message saying formatting will erase all data on the disk. And so that's something important to note, that you want an SD card that's completely blank and doesn't have anything on it that you really want, because formatting, it's going to delete everything off of that SD card. You basically want a blank SD card when you start this whole process. So it says formatting complete, say okay, then I'm going to remove it from here and I'm going to take it over to my graph. One thing to note is that you want to make sure you remove all LakeMaster cards, Navionics cards, whatever you got in there before you start any of this. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to encrypt the SD card. So this is the SD card that I plan on doing the software version on. So I'll plug that in there. And sometimes it'll automatically encrypt. Sometimes you'll have to go in and manually encrypt it. It doesn't look like it's going to work here. So I'm going to go to home. And I'll go over on this button here and I'll go to files. So I plugged this SD card in that I formatted, and for some reason it's not picking up that there's actually an SD card in it. So sometimes it's good to just switch out SD cards and get a fresh SD card or try a different one. And if it's not working, sometimes you'll have to play with that and put a new SD card in and see if that works out for you. So I got my new SD card. We'll see if this one works this time. Now see, it pops up with encrypt SD card 1. I'll click encrypt SD card 1. It'll say SD card successfully encrypted. Sometimes it'll do that automatically. I think it actually did do that automatically, but by clicking it again, it doesn't hurt anything. And you know it's successfully encrypted. So we'll take this SD card over to the computer and we'll put the software version on it, and then we'll bring it back and we'll get it on the graph. So in order to find the proper software update, I'll basically come here to this software updates page in Humminbird's website, click on current software updates, And once I do that, I will click to find latest software updates, and it'll have a list of all the different units that Humminbird makes, and you'll be able to find your unit that you use. So in this case, we're going to update the Solix 12, and for that I have the G2, the Gen 2 Solix 12. So I have a Solix 12 Chirp Mega SI Plus G2. So I'll click on that and it'll open up that latest update. So now I have my latest software update for the Solix G2 series, and it says that the latest update is 4.210. When I looked it up on my Solix, it was software version 4.130. But it's important to check these update notes, because in this case it says that you have to have software version 3.5 or greater before you install this 4.210. And so if you don't pay attention to that, and so it kind of stinks, you have to download software update twice. You have to, basically, if you haven't updated it in a really long time, you may have to download past software updates in order to get the newest update. So let's say you have 3.400, well then you don't have your software version of 3.5 or greater, so you would have to download this 3.500 and then come back and download the 4.210. In my case, since mine is greater than 3.50, I'm good. I can just go all the way down to the bottom of the page where the 4.210 download is, and I'll click that and it'll start downloading that software update for me up here in this corner. And so once I get those software updates downloaded, they'll be on my computer, and I just got to get them over to my SD card and then over to my unit. So we downloaded the software and it's in our downloads as Solix right here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to plug my SD card into my computer. I'm going to drag that Solix file over to my SD card. So I'll drag and drop that. It'll take a few minutes to download that file over there. So now that we have the Solix file on there, I'm going to go down here and I'm going to safely eject the SD card. Safe to remove hardware. So I'll pull the SD card out and we'll go to the graph. So now that we're back at the graph, we're going to put the SD card into the one of the SD card readers, and it should automatically ask us if we want to update the software. So it says new version of software is on this card, do you want to update it? And we'll click install, and then it's going to go through all the process of installing that to the Solix unit. Key here is to make sure that it doesn't get disconnected from power. Make sure you don't power it down. You don't want to interrupt it at all during this software update. This may take a while to update the software, so sometimes I'll walk away and I'll come back later and hopefully it's good to go. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this tip on how to update the software on the Humminbird Solix. If you want to see a tip on how to do it on the Humminbird Helix, it's pretty much the same, but there's a few little differences on it. If you want to see it for the Helix, click the link right here. If you want to subscribe to the channel, click right here, and we'll see you guys next time.